Yo my people, welcome back to another video. It's been a minute since I've done a talk at the whiteboard in my room. So here we are again. Welcome to another whiteboard talk, another quick lecture if you will. So today's topic is going to be about your basic principles on nutrition for muscle gain. So I'm going to basically lay out a few basic guidelines on things you need to be hitting in order to set yourself up for a successful building phase, let's say. First things first, we're going to have a hypocaloric diet. So that's going to be point number one. So essentially, you need to be burning less than what you consume. So, because the high protein thing, it's not, well, unless you're a beginner or you're coming back from an injury, or maybe you're taking some sauce on the sides, some extra stuff. Okay, potentially, but unless for more like an intermediate advanced lifter, if you're not getting in enough calories, then gee whiz, the protein isn't really going to do much for you. So that's number one. Then we have number two, which is enough protein. So if you're eating in a surplus of calories, but you're not getting enough protein, you may not be seeing as much muscle gain as you would like. Perhaps a bit more fat though would be the case. And then for number three, we have sufficient carbs and fats to maintain their functions. So ideally, if you're eating, ideally you want a good split of carbs and fats, because you still want carbs for energy when you're training. Unless you're going keto, that's a whole nother conversation. But carbs when you train and having less, like a reduced catabolic effect. But yeah, sufficient amount of carbs, and then fats. You still want a sufficient amount of fats too. You don't want low fats because it's still got a role in playing in hormonal functions. And you don't want to have too much low fats, especially if you're a male, because your test levels can drop, and then the chances of you building muscle isn't as efficient as it could be. That's number three, briefly speaking. We have number four, which is reasonable timing. So you ideally don't really want to pack everything into one meal to get the best out of muscle gain. You kind of want to aim for, the research is pretty conclusive on this too, so at least 4 meals spread throughout the day, evenly about 4 hours. Whether 5 and 6 is even better, maybe you might get some marginal gains, but for the most part, 4, the evidence is pretty conclusive. Like I said, that 4 is a great ballpark figure to be in. And then we have number 5, which is food composition considerations. So this is a bit more nuanced. This is a bit more paying attention to the smaller details. But what exactly are we eating for our proteins? What exactly are we eating for our carbs? So a good example of this is that it's been shown that there's more complete high quality proteins in our animal sources. So that would be better than, in particular, let's say plant-based ones, which are incomplete. So could we perhaps eat more protein, more of like the plant-based proteins to make up for it? Absolutely, but I guess it comes with its own trade-offs, so definitely something to consider. And then we have number 6, which is supplements and hydration. So obviously proper hydration is just essential for life. And then, you could definitely throw in some supplements in there. So just like a basic one like creatine monohydrate, just to help you put on a bit more size and add a bit more weight to you, for sure. And I'm sure you could kind of go into rabbit holes about other supplements and how effective they are, but just creatine as like a basic one, for example, that's well researched and improved time and time again, to be honest, to help you build muscle and help just add on weight essentially. And then we have the humongous factor that underpins it all, and that is consistency. So in like a muscle gain phasing week, let's say 3 days out of that week, you're on the ball, you're on the money. So you're getting in enough calories, you're getting in the protein, you're getting in the carbs. 4 meals, you're smashing it. You're basically a machine, you're basically a robot doing all this stuff to the T. But then the next 4 days, you're only getting in 1 meal, maybe 1,000 calories. You're busy because you're busy with work, busy partying, doing what you do, whatever. I mean, damn, the net result is you might actually be losing muscle. So I mean, what's the point of even doing the 3 days perfect in the first place? You kind of you're just going to frustrate yourself, and it's going to lead you to just giving up. So that's obviously not ideal. That's like where us kind of personal trainers or coaches will kind of review your week and see what percentage are you really going at. Like, are you on the ball 90% of the time where you're just smashing it, to be fair, you're doing a great job? Or is it like more like 60% where we could we could do a few things to bring that up. And then is it even like 50% or less, to where it's like, are you really even trying type of thing? So I guess I say that to say this. Is it good to have a hypocaloric diet, a caloric surplus? Yes, but only if you're consistent with it. Is it good to have enough protein, carbs, fats, timing of the meals? Yes, but only if you're consistent with it. And so on top of this, it's also good to consider that you need to do this for the proper duration of time. So you don't want to just build muscle or try to build muscle for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then just go back to cutting, because you're going to end up cutting and realize that that muscle will disappear sooner than you think. And it's going to be like you never did anything in the first place, because you kind of didn't, to be honest. So yeah, so what does the proper duration look like? I'd say at least 6 months, and then trying to implement a little mini cut, or maybe if you wanted to, a fat loss phase, and then just rebuild it from there. So you don't want to just get fat, because it gets to a limit where you pass a certain body fat percentage, and then the rate at which you could be building muscle actually deteriorates, and you're actually going to get better at building fat over that certain body fat. But that's a whole nother topic. So but yeah, just doing it for the proper duration. And yeah, so that wraps up the basic principles on nutrition for muscle gain. I hope that helps. If it did, drop a like, drop a comment on anything you maybe need clarification with. And yeah, if you haven't, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.